Today's guest, you guys, is peeling back the curtain and showing us exactly what it takes to build a successful consumer brand. And he's pivoting, staying ahead of the industry, and making some really tough decisions. So, the CEO of Kerwell, his name's Bryan Christopher. He's on the podcast today. He was super open and honest about what it takes. So, I think you guys are going to get a lot of value out of this episode. And before it starts, make sure to hit subscribe and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss a future episode. Enjoy. Okay, quick thing that I'm loving lately because I'm so bad at drinking plain water. So I started using the Kion aminos. And first of all, the watermelon flavor is so light and refreshing. So now I'm drinking way more water and it doesn't even feel like I have to try. So win-win there. Beyond that, there's so many health benefits like lean muscle support, recovery, and clean energy. Up your morning routine, go to getkion.com, that's Kion, and use code SARAPRESS at checkout and you'll get 10% off. I'll also link this in the show notes in case you forget. All right, Bryan, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So when we first spoke a couple weeks ago, it was during a very interesting time in the company, which was making the decision to close down a brick and mortar store and focus online. So I would love to just dive right into it. And if you could just talk to me a little bit about the company and
Yeah.
how this transition's kind of taking place.
Yeah. I think the best place to start is where it all started. Our founder, Carrie Aish, she was back in like 2018 or so, had significant jaw pain and was searching high and low for a remedy to the jaw pain that wasn't over the counter. And her dentist told her to look into CBD products and hemp-based products. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of resource or education in terms of what is good versus what's just out there. And that's what spurred the creation of Kerwell into a first of its kind brick and mortar that put heavy emphasis on high quality, best of the best, and a extreme focus on educating the consumer, especially because even today there's so much stigma around it. And then COVID hit right after the store opened. And then
What a great time to have a store.
yeah, so you get this high of like building something great, and then COVID hits, and you go into behind closed doors and carrying bags out the door and having to learn how to sell to the consumer without the face-to-face interaction. We fast forward to like 2022 or so. That's when we brought in Brooke, our digital brand strategist, to start streamlining the digital presence, helping with branding, helping with brand focus, helping build out the e-commerce platform. The platforms you see today is like iteration 5 or 6 compared to where it first was. She is a huge part in the growth of the web platform, going from that really generic builds, poor user experience to this beautiful high-end site that it was designed to essentially reflect the in-store experience. And we had multiple retail locations for quite some time, and then industry reality started to set in. It's a tough place because we did things the right way. We vet everything, we test everything, we ensure everybody that is on our shelves is 100% compliant and transparent. There's nothing hidden in there. We're about the health, not the high. And unfortunately,
That's a great line.
we're the ones taking the beating from the industry because of all the bad actors that really started to raise flags when kids got sick and the stuff they're selling that's spray on instead of infused and is made in somebody's basement, not labeled correctly and marketed towards kids. And that's nothing Kerwell does. And when the federal stuff came out, Ohio aligned with the federal approach without any rhyme or reason or logic and just put it into place. And it forced us to close the doors because it was either that or we're down to 15% of our product offering, which is not sustainable. And then we made our toughest decision back in the end of March, which was our flagship. That one hurt. That one was really hard to do, being that we were going on 7 years of operation in that location. But the industry's speaking. And what you're seeing is around the end of 2024, you started to see ads on Facebook and Instagram for hemp-based products. And that's a highly regulated path, but they found a way in by creating landing pages that were cleaner, similar to how they sell stuff on Amazon and Walmart, to get past the algorithm and get their ads up. And it was a very smart creation and it's worked. And then the ad spend started to come and the big boom in 2025 with all the big brands getting their seed rounds and spending 100,000 a month in ad spend. And when you're a wellness marketplace that carries all these brands, we were the destination. We ranked higher than them. The customers would go to their website, go to a store locator, come to our website, buy from us. And when you start to get engulfed in ad spend and you can't compete toe to toe with the big boys and the bigger brands that you are also giving placement on your shelves, you get engulfed. And you can't
Hmm.
with their sales, you can't compete with their subscription models, you can't compete with their free shipping models and the incentives that they have. And then they start bidding on your search terms and they start bidding on you and then you start seeing your customers pull back. And that started to what happened in downtown Downers Grove. Um, Marketplaces around us really started to carry some of these bigger brands and it made it to a point where you're looking in like September of last year, like where is the traffic going? Our model hasn't changed. We still offer the same products. We have a loyal consumer base, but you're seeing sales go down in Q4 and never recover. And the models start to shift. So the decision to go from brick and mortar to e-commerce was the realizations of where the industry is headed. Whatever happens with the regulations with the federal government, Um, the bill is 0.2% THC per singular serving. There's nothing out there with THC at 0.2 milligrams for a full spectrum product. So it crushes the market. That bill won't happen. But what will happen is an undersaturation of the market. I firmly believe gas stations, vape shops, glass shops, the those kind of pocketed CBD stores are going to
Hmm.
allow to sell hemp. And then you look at, okay, so if all that's gone, how many Kerwells really exist in Illinois, let alone the United States? They're so rare. So where's the consumer going to go? They're going to go online. The thing we pride ourselves on the most is always being ahead of the regulations and always being one step ahead of the industry. We may not be the biggest company in the pot, but we make a conscious effort to ensure that our offering, that the direction we're headed, and what we have in the pipeline stays ahead of the ever evolving industry scope so that we can be built for sustainability and not get pushed into a corner where we have a very tough decision to make. And that's why we made the transition when we did instead of waiting to see how things materialized.
Yeah, I think you're touching on something so important. And it's like, as much as your heart was in that brick and mortar, and I'm sure, like you said, it was a really tough decision. And I'm sure you poured so much into that location and you built such a community there, which is also important. But I think as small business owners and entrepreneurs, you really have to take a look at what's happening in the landscape out there. And either you're going with it or you're going against it. And one way is going to be a lot easier than the other. So,
Yeah.
you know, and making those decisions early, right? And not waiting until, you're flatlining to then try to revive something as opposed to evolving with the times and seeing what the trends are doing.
You live and die by your hardest decision. Y-
Mhm.
You if you if you tie emotion to those decisions, it will bury your business. And that's where the hardest thing comes in is like having to take your heart out and putting it over here and then putting your business cap on and saying, no, you're going to stay over there while I make this decision. Cause if I bring you back in the room, you're really going to screw this up for me.
You better lock that door because
Yeah.
those emotions are
Put it in the
fighting their way
closet.
back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's hilarious. It's so true. So do you ever see, well, I guess it's hard to predict the future, but if you could, do you ever see a point where people are coming back to brick and mortar because they miss that community piece? With so much being online, there is that loss of connection. Do you see a future of that, or where are you at with it?
No, I do. I do. I just think that I think the model of brick and mortar for the consumer has changed to where, you can have a brick and mortar, but do you have a service or an experience tied to your brick and mortar that engages the consumer? because at that point, if you're just a brick and mortar and you're just offering products, a lot of people like to shop from home. A lot of people like Amazon. A lot of people like the fact they can go online, buy their product, and just walk over and pick it up. They don't so much go into the shopping experience. The people that came into our store, it was all about the education. That's why they came in.
Mhm.
Um, I think if you're, I truly believe that the Carewell model can be a brick and mortar if it's approached in a way that includes a experience slash service based model that aligns with where the company's headed in a wellness direction. And I do think what we see in general, right, in the wellness space right now is these generations after us, the Generation Z, the Alpha, they've turned the wellness industry into a multi-trillion-dollar industry, essentially, or billion going into trillions, like no end in sight. It just keeps growing and growing and growing because they're in all about their saunas and their cold plunges and their infrared therapies and their infrared wraps and all these treatments and longevity centers. And there's so much popularity behind it. So how do you take that with product-based retail and be sustainable? And that's the challenge. It really is. I mean, look at Michael Kors. They closed what, all their stores and went online. Like it's it's getting, I think COVID really, in a way, I think we all can agree it changed the landscape of how people shop. I mean, Instacart became huge. You could buy.
I literally that's all I do now. 'Cause I'm
Right.
like going into a grocery store, like it gives me so much anxiety now.
Yeah.
There's too much, it's too much. I'd rather just pick the items I know I'm going to make that week and have someone deliver it to the door, and I'm happy to support that person and give them a nice good tip, and it's providing a job. I don't know. I justify it in my head.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, look, we sat around for a year, so we all got so comfortable doing it. And then when it's over, how do you get people to get out of the house
right.
and go to a brick and mortar?
Yeah, so this totally reminds me, I'm in the process of reading Atomic Habits for the second time. And a huge theme of that book, I don't know if you've read that one, I highly recommend it. A huge theme of that book is you have to make it as easy as possible. And I think these big places like Amazon have made shopping so incredibly easy. It's removed any barrier to it. So if someone can just go make a click somewhere and it's delivered to their front door versus I have to find the time, get in my car, drive there,
Mhm.
browse, talk to people, check out, it provides a lot more steps to it. So I think you are spot on in understanding that if there is a brick and mortar, it has to have a bigger purpose for why people are coming there and not just to pick up a product.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough place for us to be in, but you're right. You go on Amazon, it's 2 clicks and it's in your cart and your purchase. And if you're Prime, you just
Right.
buy now. And, you know, I
We're conditioning our brains
yeah.
to where it should be that easy. And there's websites that I go shop on and I'm like, how is this like 10 steps to get to checkout? Amazon's one. I'm like, there needs to be these other websites, bridge that gap and make it as easy as possible and remove any friction,
Yep.
to get that sale. So as you guys are pivoting into this space, and if some of the products do have that education piece, how are you guys planning to educate the consumer while also staying online?
Yeah. So our website was always built with the mindset of having the in-store experience online. So the education is provided on the site. There's also several different ways to connect with somebody outside of just an AI chat. You can actually talk to somebody and get the education. And we have people, I to this day, I'm very accessible. I sometimes it's probably a bad thing, but I look at it as uh we're helping people live a better life, right? And when you're doing that and you're spending the time to really improve the quality of life for these people, they need to know that they have a support system with the website that they're buying from. They're not just talking to a robot. They need to know that they could send an email that somebody's going to get back to them and help them understand what they're buying, or say, you know what, let's just get on a quick call and let's walk you through this to ensure that you have the best product for you. Because that was our model. We never just said, yeah, here, take this. We always asked questions to find out where they were in their issue they were dealing with, where their life, what their habits are, what their routines are, to help find the product that was best for them. And that's not going to change online. It's the same thing. Some people know what they want, but there's so much detailed information on the site, on the product descriptions, on we have an ingredients glossary, a brand directory. Like there's so much there to ensure that they're taken care of. And then the last resorts is email, text, and phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think even different modalities like going on podcasts are huge, or working with creators and people that are using the product for a specific purpose. Like one of the things on our first phone call, I was talking to you about playing paddle and how there's so many people that like pop their calves and have shoulder issues. And then when you were explaining how one of the products you have, if you massage it in, it goes in deeper into the muscle. And that was like a big highlight of like, oh, there are things I can do preventatively in order to avoid injuries or,
Yep.
to not be in his pain, afterwards, now that we're, in our 40s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's starting to wake you up a little bit.
Right.
um
Okay. So another area I want to jump into is like you have your own brand, but then you also carry other
yeah.
brands. Talk to me through the strategy behind that. And do they compete with each other, or do you get complementary products to what you guys are offering? Tell me a little bit about that.
So the beauty of what we've done at Kerwell is when I came in 21, and then when Brooke came on too, product optimization and diversifying was a huge thing there to ensure there was no crossover in products. So when we came on, there was a lot of inner competition between brands. And what we've done is nobody competes with each other. It's all about brand, price point, what the brand does for you, what the product does for you, what you're looking for, so that there is no misunderstanding. It's very clear. And so the Carewell line is a pharmacist formulated line. There is no quote unquote competition with it.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a couple products like Alchemy Natural Sleep and Carewell Sleep Gummy, the 25 milligram gummies. There's a $10 price difference, and ours is a little bit more, and there's reasoning behind that. And if customers ask what's the price point difference, why, we're able to walk them through, this is the why it's a little bit more than this is the extraction process, et cetera, et cetera. But our topicals are the only transdermal nano-emulsified topicals we carry. They're also the only roll-on and cream we carry. Every texture is different: balm, salve, lotion,
What
cream.
does that mean exactly when those first couple big words you use? Can you explain what that means with your topical?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, nano-emulsification, when you take CBD particles, uh,
Hmm.
and when you nano-emulsify them, it turns them into pellets. So when you're taking something orally, and it goes into your bloodstream immediately, it's going faster, which means you're going to get activation faster. It's going to be stronger and it's going to last longer. So applying that technology to a topical that's also transdermal with DMSO as the carrier, you're taking essentially an F1 race car, putting it on a pain cream and driving it directly through your skin all the way down to the bone and joint immediately with no delay, no cooling sensation that masks the pain, just an immediate drive to the area of concern. And within a minute to 2 minutes, you feel the release.
Got
And
it. So other products like a regular lotion, that
will
would
stop
be
at the
it
dermis.
just it's just basically a topic, like it just lives on top of your skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
The perfect question to ask yourself is, how many topicals have you used from Walgreens or from other places where they have menthol or camphor? You put it on, and you're like, oh wow, this feels great. 2 hours later, you're like, oh, it's hurting again, and the pain is the same exact pain it was 2 hours ago because the camphor and menthol wore off.
So it's like smoke and mirrors. It's like, well, if we make it feel like it's burning, then you won't feel the pain that you're feeling deeper inside of it.
Here, right. And with the cream we have, your de-intensification of pain, promotes collagen production and tissue repair, restores. There's so many properties to it, and it's one of the reasons why it's our number one selling product and why we're coming out with an extra strength one in a couple of weeks. Our cream is the only thing that's ever done something for me. The cannabis stuff, I've felt is extreme muscle relaxation. Like
Got it.
like you're putting Novocaine on your legs and it's just relaxing you.
Yeah, I never knew that there could be topicals that are making their way into much deeper layers than other topicals that are just that laying, on the surface of your skin.
Yeah.
That's interesting for sure. Okay, talk to me about, so you have a product. Talk to me about the manufacturing process with that. What that has been like, how you guys found the right manufacturer in order to keep your expectations and levels of service as high as you guys do.
Yeah. So our partner from day one has been Minimal down in the city, who had a relationship with Well Beans, which was a leg of Cresco. And the project manager that we have simply, so it's Minimal and Hemp for Fitness. Um, and when we first came out with the Kerwell line, it was before I started. They had 4 products, 2 tinctures and 2 capsules. And it was the Relief 1000 with the capsule and the Calm 1000 with a capsule. And in 2022, we came out with a product line. At that time, there was like 17 SKUs. It was insane. Trial and error with a few of them, with a Delta 8 tincture and a sleep tincture and a broad spectrum capsule. A lot of this stuff has been here, gone, and we've gotten down to the drivers. And the manufacturing process it's been great because our project manager, Jake Bridgewater, who's with Minimal, Hemp for Fitness, Windy City Organics, does an incredible job for sourcing. And we work together to figure out the best approach with products. But then he takes it another level with just aligning with the brand identity. If you've seen our branding, it's very high end. It's very medically focused. This product line was never meant to be in CBD stores. It was always meant for a strong presence in recovery centers, chiropractic locations, kinesiology centers, things that are helping people restore their body. That's where you'll find Kerwell product. And when you put that label on there, the outside needs to match what's on the inside. So if you're going to have this beautiful high-end look, you need to have the best quality, best product on the inside of that. And that's been the mindset for manufacturing from day one. And even with the new products that we have in the works, it's about making sure that we don't follow industry norm and look for a lane that has growth opportunity and be the disruptor.
hmm Okay, you mentioned something interesting, which was you started with a lot of SKUs. Do you find that you guys have a sweet spot with how many SKUs as opposed to having a larger offering?
Yeah, so this was another reason why it was tough to keep the store open, was because if I downsize to just my brand, I can't fill 1,500 square feet because I have a sweet spot, and the sweet spot is designed off of consumer demand. People want simple. They want grab and go. The tincture industry 5, 6 years ago was popping, but that's all there was. And the what you have to do with that is multiple doses throughout the day to maintain homeostasis. People don't have the attention capacity to do that when they're flying a million miles an hour, dealing with their kids and their job and their husband or wife, and moving all the time. And I got to take my dose. They want simplicity. And so I've paid strong attention to the movement of our sales over the last 3, 4 years, the burn rates on existing inventory, consumer demand, consumer buying tendencies, and across the entire platform, not just as the brand, to really hone in on topicals, gummies, and capsules. And the capsule market's still kind of down, but if you have a specialty, you can bring that line up. And that's been the sweet spot for us. Is 6. And the 6 that we have, these are the 6 that will take us through the wild west of regulations, because they're ahead of others in terms of they're already zero THC. They function exactly like a THC product without the THC. Still get the same benefits of it, and they're in their own lanes. So it's built and designed for sustainability without ever having to pivot, because it's been like that from day one.
Got it. Yeah. And I heard that like going off of sticking with your core products, it's like listen to your consumers and make sure it's the people that are buying it. And,
Yeah.
people might have an opinion of like, oh, this flavor would be great or this product would be great. but you really have to go by what are the products that people are buying. Because I heard that some of these brands will offer variations of the product or flavors, and it actually reduces the sales on the ones that are leading, and it's a lose-lose situation.
You brought something up that it took me 2 years to green light our extra strength pain cream. 2 years. And
Why was it 2 years?
we have such a good product in the 1,000. It's such a good product. And when you decide to double the strength of something, initially it was a 3,000 milligram pain cream and it came out watery because it was too potent and we had to scale it back. And then I just benched it. I'm like, I need to see the demand. I need to know that it's not going to hurt what we have here. And there
Mhm.
has to be a customer segment specifically for this, where the worst case scenario, I take 15% of this, maybe 20 tops, and they come over here, great, higher price point, better margin, awesome. But I don't want to hurt something that's selling so well. I mean, we're selling one location is doing 150 pain cream a month in Texas.
Wow. What kind of is it? Again, you stick with like
Chiropractor,
chiropractors and wellness centers? Okay.
chiropractors. And it's insane, but it's a really good product. And all it takes is just trying it on your skin. And when you feel that tension let go, you're like, yeah, give me. I
Like it's
want it.
working. Yeah.
So, there's so much that goes in. I'm glad you brought it up with we have two flavors for our tinctures. They don't fight with each other. Their sales are parallel, literally parallel on the 1,000 and 3,000 with the amount sold every year. It's parallel. They both sell the same, which is insane. We have two topicals. There's no inner fighting because one's a roll on, great to take out, like we talked about, to pickleball and tennis and golf can go outside into the heat, and the cream that needs to stay home. It's perfect.
Hmm.
So this was a tough decision, but I finally got some confirmation in terms of there is a smaller segment for this. I know if I pre-sale it, I'll sell 100 units in the first week, and that'll give me the reassurance that I'm good and I won't lose over here in the process. And so I'm comfortable with that. It's
Yeah.
two
I
years.
think that's so key is like, don't compete with yourself, right?
No.
And don't just introduce a new product because you want to keep innovating these new products. And I think what you're doing is so smart is like really do the research to know that that product is going to work and that there's a market for it without taking away from something else that's already pushing your business forward.
Market research is so important to follow buyer tendencies and consumer trends. That goes for onboarding products on our website and bringing new products in under the Kerwell umbrella. It's not about throwing darts anymore. It's about being very strategic to ensure that whatever you spend X amount of dollars on, time, effort, and branding and manufacturing, that when that box hits your doorstep, there's a market for it right away and it's not sitting on the shelf for 6 months.
Right. You don't have 8 cases in your basement because nobody actually needs the product that you think they need.
We've
Right.
been there. We've seen that before. So yeah,
You don't want to, you make that mistake once, you typically don't make that again, right?
definitely not.
Awesome. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Before we wrap up, I love to leave my listeners with like, what is one thing that you would tell business owners that are maybe looking into getting into a product space or they're an online business? Is there some tip or advice you would say that they could implement today?
Trust yourself. I think in business, we second guess a lot of the decisions that we make. But in my opinion, there's no wrong decision because you're going to grow and strengthen from every decision you make, whether it's good or bad. You need those experiences to have a stronger business, have a stronger business mindset, and build a successful business. I don't think any good business has been built without being built on the foundation of failures. And
Oh, I love that quote.
you got to have a few failures to have a great success. And even when you get to the top, it's going to slap you down a little bit before you can get to that next level. So believe in yourself, believe in your path, trust the process. And even on those hard days, grind through it.
I love that. That's great tips. Nothing happens based on you thinking about it and wanting to do it.
Yeah.
It happens when you put yourself in action. So that's awesome. If people want to check out your products, now that we know how well they work and the difference, can you tell us like your website, social media, where we can find you guys?
Yeah, so www.kerwellness.com for the marketplace, and all the brands are on there. And then at Kerwell CBD, it's Kerwell CBD on Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bryan. I appreciate you taking the time to come on and share all of this insight with my listeners.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Nothing Small About Business. Make sure you follow this show so you don't miss the value in upcoming episodes. Share this with someone who's growing and connect on socials for more.